Of
Thomas,
course.
thank you for being here today. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So today we want to talk about the mindset it takes to be a seven-figure entrepreneur. And so I want to really dive into, what you used to be doing to what you're doing now and how the mindset that you have, the work ethic you have is really the primary thing that's driving your results. Not to say that you're not brilliant and you're not creative and everything, but I think that you've seen so far that like if you just half-assed it, even with your brain, you're still not going to be where you want to be.
Yeah, so first, like I said, thanks for having me. I think like the way that I started was a little like unconventional to most. Like I know like a lot of people who start like have jobs and they start like as like a side hustle and like they grow it up to eventually be full time. My story started with like I was traveling Europe for some time and I came back and I was applying to jobs, but I also started doing this. And then like after the first month where I saw like that it was like a legitimate like way of making income, did I really say like, okay, I'm gonna start doing this like I don't even have to worry about a job. And I think that's like where like I differentiated in a lot of ways because like, now that I work with you and I'm working with like other stores, like I see people who like have a full-time job and do this part-time, and it's a lot more difficult doing that. Now, obviously, like not everyone's gonna have like the luxury of having the time to do it like how I did, but it is more of a time commitment than most people realize. And that's not to say like you can't be successful doing it with a full-time job. It just means that you have to be really disciplined to put in time every workday, at least, an hour at the end of each shift, but like really getting things done. And I think that's what like someone with a full-time job must do because it's like, your results in this business is not driven by the time that you put in. You'll see the results based on like the algorithm that you form together, if that makes sense. Like it's not like, okay, work like 2 hours, get this result. It's more like
But that's what makes this so exciting is it's scalable, it's infinitely scalable.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I love this business, but because myself included, like it was something like hard to grasp. Like in here, you need to do like you have to first of all figure out like what is working for you. That's why I joined your mentorship program to begin with, and it's really like you have to figure out like what A plus B equals C is, and then just execute that process, and you'll start seeing results within a couple days. And that's the other thing. You're not going to see results like immediately. You're going to start seeing them like based on like data and traffic that you drive in, which is going to be quicker to see with more visitors, more people going to your store, which can only happen with the more that you invest into your business.
Yeah, that's actually a really good segue into one thing I wanted to talk to you about, which is like the mindset when it comes to spending on ads. Because like I was watching an interview with Nick Shackelford, who does breads and he does a lot of like massive brands. And the way he describes it is ad spend is tranches of is like basically getting tranches of information. So every X amount of money you spend on ads is just more data that you have to make more decisions with. So the faster you spend, the more you spend, the quicker you make those decisions. So like how was this for you to get over that mental hump, I would say?
Yeah, I mean, especially like when you're used to like working a 9 to 5, like say like after taxes and all that, like you're getting just keep it math simple, like $100 a day. Well, in this business, like $100 a day isn't like all that much, And like let's say you don't make any sales, with $100 ad spend in one day, people start to freak out because like that's like how much they make like in an entire day. And I get that. I was like the same way, but this is where like kind of like you tie back into the algorithm side of things. Like there's days like I'll go to $300 without making a sale, but I'm also spending $1,500 in ads a day. So like the more that you spend, the more like it evens out, I guess. Like the more consistent it gets, like it'll be like $300 I don't make any sale, and then like on the $400 like I'll make like five sales. Like it's like that. It's weird, but it works out. And the only reason the that you're able to do something like that is because you've already have like a track record from lots and lots of data of saying like, okay, like on average, you're gonna get, $44 per purchase. So if you were getting like $44 per purchase and your profit margins are like 90 to $100, that's really good. Like you're gonna make a ton of money. And the only thing that you need to do is to really increase it is increase your ad spend. But you need to make sure like it's backed up with something. You're not just taking a guess.
Yeah. So it's like you don't want to go straight from like 0 to 1,000 a day. You want to start really small, build it up, get that proof of concept, and then you start to grow.
Yeah, of course. When I started, I started with $30 a day on ads. And I actually pulled up my old analytics so I could, and I'll share it
Oh,
here.
cool.
So this is the first week I ever started, and this was on $30 a day on ad spend. So like after like the math, like I wasn't making like anything, but what it did do is like it showed me like it's possible to do it. Like if three people, I think yeah, it says three people ordered from me on this week. Like I was like, okay, so like people are willing to like spend money with you. So like, and this was like my website looks nothing like it did like it does now with this, but I was like, okay, like if I just like made this better, like then like my analytics could increase. And that's when I started working with you. And I think it's really important like people get on a mentorship group just because it's if you ever try learning anything, you're gonna know like you're gonna make a lot of mistakes, and with in this case, it's like money mistakes. So it's like it's better to like talk, be in a community with a bunch of people, like because you can only learn so much off your one store, but it's much better like being in a community with like as many people as is in the our mentorship group, because then you can like
Yeah.
pick and you could pick like and pick each other's brains, and like we've seen so many things that have happened that like you're not alone. Because like that's how it's gonna feel at first. So once I started like, figuring out the algorithm, I kept working on it. So was my first month of ever doing it. And
Mhm.
now I took screenshots just to like hide other stuff, but this is like the last 90 days. And I
And you
honestly,
started from zero. I mean, this isn't just 90 days. This is last 90 days, but also the entire business.
yeah,
I mean, I think
exactly.
you've been around for like 120, 150 days, but it's roughly the entire business right here.
Yeah, yeah, I probably should. And like when I started, I know when I talked to you, like I wasn't ex like I was hoping to maybe get 100K for the entire year, Like
Mhm.
I told you like, oh, it would be nice because, I don't have like a family or like all those other things. So like I'm very blessed to be in the position I am as far as like risk taking is concerned, but like I told you I was like, look, if I can make like $100 a day doing this, like that'd be great, because I mean, I could like, pay my bills and like,
Mhm.
not live like, in Lamborghinis or whatever, but like that's fine. Like I don't have to go into the office and having like a boss and all that stuff. So like just like the
Yeah.
idea of doing this was like, really appealing to me, and I think it's appealing to a lot of people for similar reasons, because you could yeah, there's tons of benefits with it. There's also a ton of drawbacks, like as far as like guarantee, like there's no guarantee. But here's the thing with this business, like there's no guarantee in anything. You can't force someone to buy someone on your store, and like that's how you're gonna generate revenue. But what you can do is you could put yourself in the best position possible to make that happen. And that's a lot of like what we like talk about in our mentorship group, and why I think it's a good idea to join one.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, if I make $100 a day, like that's that's kind of like a bad day, honestly. But like the very first goal like that I wanted to do that I accomplished in the second month was just breaking even. So like on the second month, I started like spending like $100 on ad spend. After like expenses, I'd make $100, so I'd pretty much break even, if not make a little bit. And that was pretty much like the vibe of like my entire second month. And then on the third and fourth month, that's when I really started scaling, because I started working with you and we started like, really diving into the analytics of like what exactly I should be improving on, like what I should,
Mhm.
getting feedback from customers, and all this like social proof and all that stuff. And then that's when I started making like full-time income, probably by the end of month four. And we've been scaling ever since.
Nice. Okay. So, to a couple things that really hit me there. The way I learned all this stuff so quickly is I was working at an agency and I would be responsible for 30 clients at a time. And so that's what you're saying right now. It's like by being in this community, you're getting access to 30 different stores, seeing the data of 30 different stores, and that 10x is your ability to learn this stuff, which you literally can't do on your own. And I never thought of it that way, but this is like your agency training in a sense. Or am I kind of off base there?
No, you're absolutely right. Like I think anyone that's really serious about doing this full time, it's like pretty vital to do that. Like when
Hmm.
I was doing it like by myself in the beginning, I was just like on YouTube University, and like something would go wrong, and like there was no one to really reach out to except like maybe like Shopify support or like Facebook ad support. But those guys don't really like, it's not that they don't know what they're talking about, but it's like there's no like incentive of them to like actually solve your problem. So like
And
you're
they
kind
don't
of
know
like,
your business. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, exactly. But like with us, it's like if there's something wrong that happens, which there will be, like it's 99% of the time, it's nothing like we never seen before. So like we know how
Mhm.
to like handle that position more carefully. We've seen a ton of people like go from like a 1.5% conversion to a like 3+% conversion. I mean, I was one of those people. But like it a lot of times when it comes to like stuff like that, it's like, well, how like what am I even supposed to do? So like that's when we like talk about like, apps that we download so we could take a look at like your store so we could see like what people are clicking on and stuff like that. But it
Mhm.
could even be more minute details like, like we had someone like who got hacked on her Facebook, like how do we like handle something like that? I guess that's not
Yeah.
minute, but I just
Well,
like
it's like
variety.
everybody, if you get hacked, you probably only get hacked once. It's like
Yeah.
we've seen so many different accounts, so many different stores. We can bring that knowledge to it, whereas other people just have their own siloed knowledge of one account.
Yeah, like I mean stuff
Okay.
like stuff like, oh, like I can't connect my domain with my business email. Oh, like how like why is my
Yeah.
my Facebook not connected to my Shopify? Like to the small things like that that like when I was doing it by myself would just like be a pain to figure out. If you're in a mentorship group, like you just bring that to a group call and like we'll get it done in like 10 minutes. So it's like,
Yeah.
t especially if you have a full-time job where like time's really money, like you have like an hour or two to work on this a day. You're not doing this full time. Yeah, it's the only way.
Well, thank you. I want to move into like how you would structure your day and the difference from when you took this as a hobby versus how it changed when you took this seriously as a profession.
Yeah, so like I said, like I was doing this full time from day one, and in the beginning especially, like I don't advise anyone to do this, but like I like had like 12, 14 hour days where I would like wake up, and it was also the winter, so there wasn't a lot to do outside either, but
And just so everybody knows, this was you had left a job, taken the savings, gone to Europe for a few months, came back, and now you're basically at square zero, no job, no income, nothing, just starting fresh.
yeah, this is true. I really need
Okay.
money because I
Well,
wasn't
of
making
course, yeah.
anything in Europe. I wasn't making
But I
anything in
just want to
Europe.
make it clear, like this is you started at a spot where you had no job, no
Yeah,
steady
yeah. I
income.
I definitely started
This
like
was a
have
big risk for you.
I started in a place where like I had my back to the wall kind of thing. So like yeah, like I said, like I mean that's why like I understand people that like get scared when like they gotta spend like $100 a day on ads or something like that. Because I was in the same position. Like I was like, oh, like that's even $30. I was like, oh, like
Yeah.
I could really use that $30 if I make no sales. But yeah, like the fact that you literally have to pay for that. Yeah, I'd have my back to the wall. I had like no income coming in. Like I pretty much just spent like my entire days like in the beginning just like either eating or just like working on my site because like I said there's gonna be things that go wrong on your site and like if you don't have a mentorship group like you have to figure all that stuff out yourself so like that was like how I structured my days in the beginning it was just like wake up like work on my site eat and
How
then
did you know it to work on at the beginning before you joined when you were doing this alone?
yeah, I mean some of it's like common sense. So like if you're starting from square one, like the first thing you need to ask yourself is like, okay, well what problem am I going to solve? Like what store am I going to base it around? It doesn't have to be a problem, but there's like resources in the internet. So like, the big things people talk about is like your store either has to solve a problem or it has to like have an ooh factor. But
Hmm.
it can't just be like you're selling like a normal pen. But that's pretty obvious. So, okay. So then I thought the first step one is like, okay, figuring out like what you want your store to be on and then like, committing to it. And then like you get on to like all the like, building a logo, like building you the store and all that stuff. And then just like, yeah, through like research, I'd uncovered like different themes and apps and all that stuff. So it's really like, I guess like to answer your question, like it's just like what you think like building an online store would be is like how I'd structure my day in the beginning. And then once like everything, like I had like a baseline model, it was just like figuring out how to boost like conversion rate. And I think at that point, like we started working together because like I saw like it was like a legit business and now I just needed to make it profitable so I don't have to like have a normal job.
Okay, and that's when we got connected.
Yeah, yeah. We got connected at the perfect time because like I was applying to jobs at the same time, but by the time like my offers started rolling in, I was like, okay, I actually like don't need that anymore. Because
What did that
I
feel
didn't
like?
want
Like,
to.
what was that like when you were able to say? Because I think you told me you got like a six-figure job offer with a
I
car, I
did.
think it was.
Yeah, I did. Like I never had like so I was like a sales guy, so like it's never like that hard getting a sales job. But yeah, this one company like gave me like the best offer I've ever received in my entire life. It was like a six-figure base salary with like a car package. Like I would have been set. Like but I would have had to
Yeah.
like, work for someone else and like not really control my own schedule. So
And
like
also now I don't think you've hit six figures in 1 month yet, but you're literally on the cusp of six-figure months.
yeah, last month I did 95K. Like I was so
Hell yeah.
close.
Okay.
Yeah, I was so close and now it's a little less 'cause I actually like taking like I'm dialing back a bit of the ad spend 'cause I have like these new like I hired a creative
Yeah.
agency to create really like nice like creatives for me. So once they come in like it's gonna get boosted up. But I'm that's definitely one of my goals to like officially say like okay, I hit like 100K in 30 days. It was
Yeah,
close, but
absolutely.
I need to. Yeah. It's
Okay.
exciting. Like I like this stuff. Like I really do. Like it changed my life. So
What was your knowledge of the e-commerce world before you got into this?
aside from just like looking at like a couple gurus and their Lambos like boast about it on like social media, I didn't really know too much.
Have you
I
ever built a website before you did this?
no, I never no.
Cool. And you've never run a Facebook ad before this?
No. It was like all like square one.
Okay. That's
And
great. Yeah.
I started with my laptop and then I could like now I have like a PC and like three monitors.
Yeah. Well, that's sick. Okay, so let me ask you this. Like you had 12-hour days to focus on this, get that learning curve out of the way so that when you did join the mentorship program here, you were really ready to just like skyrocket and just like really go hard. What if somebody has a full-time job and they want to start where you were at square zero? How do they manage their time? How do they prioritize what needs to be done?
Yeah, so the nice thing is like this is why I say you don't need to do that because like if you just like trust in because and I understand because I was on the other side too, but like a lot of like mentorship groups like out there seem like scammy. They're like the like Lambo driving guys. That's like a hump to go over because
It's like very flashy and showy
yeah
and less
like
substance. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So like you like our mentorship program, like your mentorship program is like it's very legit. Like we work with people one on one to like uncover things. So like all those things that like you have to like figure out, it's just gonna like hurt your brain. And like you already hurt your brain enough like in your normal job. Like you don't want to keep doing that. You just want to like know what to do and just execute. So like that's really like where like for someone starting out like where we could really excel and then so for someone that's already like has their feet in the door like we could really help grow and that's kind of like where I was like I had my foot in the ground by the time I joined and then like we really like 10x'd it to where it is now.
Yeah, I absolutely. But what about, I guess if I'm to kind of rehash what you were just saying, is if you do have a 9 to 5 and you want to get into this world, it's going to be really freaking hard to do it on your own just because of the
Yeah,
learning curve involved.
yeah,
But if you could find a
absolutely.
group, find a mentorship, find a process to follow, that
Hmm.
is going to simplify things massively and actually allow you to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I personally work with a few people that are doing exactly that and like the progress they've made from when we started is like massive. But that's 'cause, I have one-on-one meetings with them. We have group calls that they bring their questions or concern to. And like a lot of things like they'll sound easy to do, like if you just say it with your voice, but like when you actually start doing it, then like you'll run into something and then like you'll start freaking out 'cause like why is it not working? And then you'll spend like the next like 2 hours trying to figure out like how to like do like I said, like this as something small as like, the pixels on like your Shopify to like how do I move this banner like 2 millimeters to the left? Like those like little things that sound easy but can definitely add time.
How do you deal with that kind of thing where you just get stuck and you don't know if it's a tech thing, a knowledge thing, like you just have no idea why it's not working? Like, how did you personally handle those situations?
I just trial and error. Like I just research. I'd reach out to like the help desk at Shopify or whatever platform I was having issues with. And it wasn't the most efficient way, but it was the only way that I figured to do it.
And that was pre-program, and then in program, all the times you got stuck, you would just come to me.
Yeah, pretty much. Cause like the nice thing is like we have group calls every day, like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then you also get like one-on-one with yourself. So like that's a lot of support. So like
Hmm.
we'd talk about something and then I'd do it, and then like most of the time there's like something like that's not right that like I wasn't able to figure out how to execute properly.
Hmm.
So I'd take it to a group call or like yourself, and then we'd talk about it and would solve it.
Okay, cool. Because yeah, it's like a lot of people, even if they're in this program, if they're on their own, like they'll try to do something, and I mean we have one guy in the program right now who's having trouble getting his Facebook ads approved because of, you know, he sells a medical supplement. And so it's like you can pound your head against the wall for this, or you could just bring it to the group calls and talk about it in the community. And what was it, like yesterday we had a call, one of the people has an issue with upcoming products, like how to put their logo on upcoming products. So we spent 10-15 minutes troubleshooting other ways to apply your logo to that particular fabric, because a couple people have experience with that. So I feel like, yeah, like that really is the kind of thing that helps you level up. Just knowing that you've got that support system and multiple people who can help you with multiple different backgrounds.
Yeah, I totally agree for sure. To do it by yourself is like, I think like the two biggest humps that you have to go over, like when you first start out, is just believing in it. Because
Hmm.
there's like a lot of like sketchy people out there that it's like, all right, like, so believing in the business as in itself. And
Hmm.
then the second thing is like believing in a mentorship group that you could join because like same thing with the first reason, there's like millions of people trying to sell their courses like that are like that looks gimmicky. And
Hmm.
I talked with a few mentors and like this was like the only like one that I trusted, and I'm glad I did
Well,
because
thank you. Why do you say, like, what were the initial signs where like you didn't trust them and you did trust me, for example?
yeah, like a lot of people, they were like, okay, like they were always trying to upsell me for like things that I didn't really need. So they would be like, okay, like for like additional like one-on-ones, like the X amount of money. And then it's like they never showed me like proof like that they even did it themselves, like or like other store. Like there was like no very little proof. And I'd be talking to like a sales guy or something. But like with you, it's like I talked directly with you. Like you showed me like what you do. You were really transparent and yeah, I was.
Okay, well, thank you. I want to wrap things up with probably what I consider to be the most important distinction between the pre and the post kind of mentorship journey. Or even, I wouldn't even call it the mentorship journey. I would just say you having success in e-commerce, the pre and post of that. Can you talk to me about what the 9 to 5 mindset is like? And then talk to me about how that is completely different and opposite from what a 7-figure entrepreneur mindset looks like.
I guess you could say mindset as more of like I think realization is more accurate than like mindset. Cause like when I had like a normal job, like 9 to 5 job, I'm sure no, like, I'm not the only one or like, maybe I'm just different, but I'd kind of just do the like the bare minimum as far as like just don't get fired. And for me, it was
Yeah.
like I was a sales guy. So I was like, all right, I just gotta like, And so yeah, it was more
You
like,
hit that bare minimum quota, you'll get your commissions, you won't get fired type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, like that, that's me. Yeah, I'm sure like not everyone's like that, but with like e-commerce, it's like you're putting your own finances on the line. So like you need to make sure like your stuff is like set up right to optimize your return on ad spend or just like return on like just money you invest because like it's not just like the ad spend. You got like there's like apps that require like monthly subscriptions and like Shopify itself is not free. It's not a
Hmm.
lot, but it's still like I think like $40 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
But you really need to like back up. You're like investing in yourself in this. Like whereas like, a 9 to 5, like someone else is investing in you. I think like that's the biggest realization. So like that's why like when sometimes people ask me like how much time do I spend on this like a week? Like I don't keep track. Like it's like
But also, I'm sure it was like at the beginning you spent a fuck ton and now you spend a little bit less.
yeah, this is true. I definitely don't spend as much time as like the beginning. I should, because then you could just keep scaling. There's always stuff to do. Like that's the other thing. Realization, mindset realization is
Hmm.
like you're never done. You definitely need like a good baseline so you could like actually like do this like full like full time or like see like it working for you. But just because you get to a certain point, like you're still like not done and you'll never be done because there's always like things to do to optimize or scale or even just manage. Like,
I mean, at the bare minimum, if you're at a 3% conversion rate, the only thing stopping you from a 3.5% conversion rate is work and testing.
exactly.
So it's like it can always get better. I would say if you're at like an 8%, probably can't do much better than that. But you know,
Yeah.
um,
I also started like in a good time of the year because like, I'm a pretty active guy. Like I like doing things. When I started, it was like February and it was like really cold. So I was like, all right, well,
it worked with your like mental mode where you were at
yeah,
that time.
yeah.
Okay.
Kind
And
of
now
like,
I guess in summary, I mean, like, thank you so much for opening up and sharing all this, Thomas.
of
There
course.
was one thing that you told me, your goal when you started here. Do you remember what you told me?
I think it was like $100 a day, something
No,
like
no, it
that.
wasn't that. You had a little slogan. Do you remember it?
No, honestly, I don't.
It was Ecom, golf, sleep, repeat. That's how you want to live your life.
That's crazy. I mean, I kind of
Do you
like knew
remember
that.
saying that?
I don't, but I believe it
Okay.
because yeah, I think I've achieved my goal at this point. That is
Yeah,
kind of what I
how many
do.
rounds of golf are you playing a week?
A decent amount, I get like weekly lessons now.
Okay.
No,
Big
it's
moves.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for sure. The nice thing is, like, I'm never gonna say like I made it. I don't want to be that guy, but I definitely like don't really worry about money anymore. If I want something, like, I'll just get it. Whereas like before, like, I'm not saying I did that before. I was just being more like financially irresponsible. Whereas like, and there was like kind of a limit. Like when I was in Europe, like I was conscious about it, but I was also like, ah, I'll figure it out later. And I did,
Yeah.
thank God. But but like yeah, like I'd look at my bank account, like I'd be like, oh, that's it's like seeing like a bad score on your test scores, or like your
Yeah.
GPA. And my GPA was just going down. And I was like, you just be irresponsible about it. But like I said, like I don't have like, like kids or like, and I know like other people do. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, like that's how you should do it. Like that's how I did it and it worked out. But like that's because I can. And I'm very fortunate that I was able to. I'm still having a lot of fun, but like the process, the whole like timeline, it's been like a real blessing for sure.
Amazing. Well, Thomas, thank you so much for just talking about the mindset and even like going into details on your backstory. I'm gonna put this on our WAP group, and I think it's gonna be like hugely valuable to everybody new who jumps in and is really looking for some guidance on how they can turn this passion, this hobby, whatever it is, into a full-blown career.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think at the like if I were to put it in like a slogan, is like believe and then execute. That like those two
Wonderful.
words.